It's been a while. Yes, it's been a while. My throat is getting better, and here we are. So for the past weeks, people on the so-called social justice side, and I've seen really weird things, weird assumptions from them, considering that they said that this X game causes people to be like this. It's like me holding a bread knife and assume that I could be a killer every time, anytime soon. So by holding it and have this fetish over dismembering and mutilating people in their corpse when they're dead. That's their so-called pathology when it comes to video games. It's like that, and it's really weird to consider that they have these so-called dogmatic presumptions or assumptions just to cater on what they want to preach or what they want to capitalize, which is the panic of people on video games. Remember back in the decades ago that we had scares over novels being influencing people to be violent. We have people who says that rock makes you satanic. Of course, the so-called infamous declaration of Dungeons and Dragons makes the youths who plays them apparently called, to be Satanist. It's absurd, really. But I really don't know. What I really don't get is how people believe in this. How people, well, think of it this way. It's the normal human psyche. Most of the time, we don't want to accept our mistakes, our faults. Instead, as human beings, we want to have that kind of straw man to point on in case of emergency, because we we for the most part don't want to own up to it. And that's kind of like our thinking since the dawn of mankind, if you may. So when the wind goes down and your house got break down, oh, it's the gods that made it possible. And in this case, it happened today, only to blame it on video games. And those kinds of so-called pathology assumed by the social justice warriors when it comes to video games are just poison, if you may, because many people, impressionable as they are, will believe everything that these people say, because they're the insiders of the industry, they're the academics of the industry, which is absurd because yeah, I can if I'm an academic, I could say the same bullshit and actually earn from it. That's that's just me. And the fact that people still bite to it, it's just mind blowing. It is. What I really don't get is how do they come with these kinds of so-called pathologies that they have with video games? For example, with the recent Bayonetta 2, the male gaze theory, which I I personally don't know. I personally don't know. I researched about it, and I still don't get it. The male gaze, according to my sister, is just pathetic. Yeah, really, she said that because there's no such thing. I could say the same that a man having a female gaze, and it could be the same thing. Got it? Now, you have to ask yourself this: when you play a video game, are you imagine this? Are you in a dome? Are you in an echo dome in which that is your reality? And whether you want to get out, you in this exoplanet called fantasy, before you get out, you get your life sport on in case that, because you don't want to be that wind. You don't want to cross that line. In which case, um, but a pathology that they call it is um, whatever you're doing in reality, in fantasy, you want it in reality. But the thing is, normal people don't do that. Only serial offenders do. In all of history, in all of antiquity, those people, those people who have these so-called pathologies, who wants to make their fantasy reality, aka the serial killers, the serial rapists, the serial arsonists, are those people who cannot separate the la la land from the ouch land. Got it? It's like that. And these people from academia don't understand that. After all, they don't play games. It's just assumptions for them, and therefore they want to change it. And you know, I'm just going to be before I'm going to end this, I'm just going to have a mini tirade because I listened to a King of Post last stream together with Sargon of Akkad with Geordie Tait. And I'm going to be honest with you. How am I going to put this? Here's the thing. If they reapprove these kinds of actions from Geordie Tait, in which in order to even the scales, because Gamergate, according to Geordie Tait, if you will, to that should be gassed, should be killed, should be doxxed, and he will not give a shit because apparently Gamergate is worse than a Holocaust. Gamergate and people around it should pay for the 11.7 thousand years of women being oppressed, blah blah blah. I'm going to tell you this. My mom's ancestry, my mom's ancestry is our are from the are descended from being slaves to Spanish colonials. And to be honest, I'm not going to seek repatriations over the Spanish. My parents don't. My mom don't. My mom's family don't. Why? Because the past has been the past. It already happened, and we don't need repatriations at all. If you want to have a better future, don't blame the people that are living now to the fault of the past. That is not how you burn your hatchet. That is not how you. That's not how you solve problems. That is not how you build bridges. It's just absurd. You know, it's hurtful to read these kinds of things, and apparently some people approve it. Just breaks me. But I have to be numbed. I have to be numbed because I know I've been through worse. That is all. Anyway, I'm Homer, and you know what? I think some messages that have the word don't have the words to express it.